welcome to winter in northern New South Wales and southern Queensland. Woke up this morning, it was 11 degrees Celsius, which is quite cold for us, to be honest. I'm sure all the people down south in Victoria and the bottom of New South Wales will be saying you've got to be kidding yourself, but for Queensland, that's pretty cool, guys. Currently sitting at 19 degrees Celsius, just out west of Kyogle, which is in northern New South Wales. I'll show you on the map. Beautiful part of the country up here. What I'm looking for is a dam or a lake that I can camp on that isn't overrun with boats and jet skis. Now the big problem we have, particularly in Queensland and southern Queensland, is we have some beautiful inland waterways, but they're all overrun with jet skis and boats and wakeboards and the like, so it doesn't actually make for what you would call peaceful camping. So I've been trying to find a lake or an impoundment that's more up in the mountains, middle of nowhere, so you're not going to get as many people travelling to it. And I believe the one I'm going to, which is TOONUMBAR Lake, is that it's electric motor only, which means you don't have the big smoky outboard motors. So I'm hoping the case will be that it'll be quite quiet here. It is now winter time, so there is a lot less people camping, of course. So we'll see how we get on with that. But the temperature, the weather this weekend is supposed to be fantastic. 22 degrees maximum. It's getting down to about 8 or 9 overnight up in the mountains, which would be great. So really looking forward to getting out and seeing the actual lake itself. Should be fantastic. And thank you for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed this video. So guys, we're just coming now down through the farmland. Going to keep an eye out for any dry logs or timber on the side of the road, obviously for firewood. The lady at the camp area here told me that there is sometimes wood left at the fireplaces, but it depends on how busy the place has been and whether that's all been burnt up or not. As usual, I still have a little bit of firewood with me from the last couple of the camps, which is great, but it's always nice to just take some with you as well wherever possible. So yeah, just going to keep an eye out for that. And as you can see, this is really lovely countryside. Okay, so we're just up into the mountains here now. Looks like we're about 10 minutes away from the actual lake itself, or the dam. So as you can see, fairly sparse forest here, not very what you would call old growth forest, which is disappointing to see, but it'll be interesting when we get closer to the dam itself. It sits between a couple of national parks, Richmond National Park to the south and TOONUMBAR National Park to the northeast, or northwest, sorry. So it will be interesting to see once we get closer around the actual dam itself. Being a catchment area for fresh water, I would expect it to be fairly heavily timbered, because I obviously don't want machinery working in the area. You can see I'm just coming down into a bit of a gully here now with some older trees, so really looking forward to seeing what this area looks like. And obviously the state of the actual dam itself. We had rain during the week, which was great, and as I've said in other videos, we've had obviously lots of rain back in March when we had quite a fair bit of rain, in fact, so the water levels of the dam should be quite good. So I'm just looking forward to seeing what it's like around the campsite itself, and then obviously then from a fishing perspective as well. So very, very interesting to see. Okay, so I've just dropped off at the little house at the entrance to the dam here. So if you're camping, there's a little place you pull over to a little farmhouse, and they take your money and get you all signed up, which is fantastic. The good news is it appears there's going to be just myself here tonight, which is fantastic news. The only people coming in and out have been day trippers. As you can see, absolutely gorgeous in here. Gotta love the forest. Australian bush in particular, just beautiful. So we're just going to mosey on down the side of the dam here, and we'll have a look at the campsite when we get here. Alright, so this is the campsite. I think you're probably camping just up on the hill here at the top, just to get that little bit of warmth in the mornings. Coolness comes down to the bottom of the campsite. You can see over the back here there's put a little barbecue area in there and so forth. There is a bit of shelter there if it does get cooler tonight or wet tonight. And obviously we've got the dam down the bottom, so we'll have a bit of a look around and see what we can find, guys. Okay, so as I said last time, guys, these things are often more designed to catch fishermen than fish, but we'll have a go at one of these guys, see how it looks. As you can see, it's an absolutely stunning evening out here this afternoon. 20 to 4 now, so it looks a lot darker than it actually is. The sun's just going down now, so we're going to give this a few sprays around the water, and we'll see how we get on. Well, so much for that idea. Line just snapped. Oh well, try again. Guys, this gold one looks very, very pretty, but I don't think it's actually doing much for me. Really probably need to be in a canoe or a kayak. Very steep banks here, so one of the kayakers was saying how it's very clear at the other end of the lake here, so you just need to get down there on a canoe and have a look. But it's just a stunning evening, guys. Well, it's 4:15 in the afternoon. Fishing was a no-go as usual. But look, I won't lie, it's not really my thing, I'll be honest. Every time I go fishing in a place like this, I look at the water and I look at the light and I look at the trees and I think, ooh, that'd look nice in a video, that'd look nice in a photo. I get distracted and the focus really moves away from fishing, so that's okay. So look, I've just come up here now to get this fire going. We'll get that going and roaring and then head back down about probably 4:30, 4:45. Sun's just sitting down behind the mountains there behind me now, in front of me I should say. And I can see the light on the water is just starting to darken up a little bit now, so I'm going to give it another, 15 minutes, half an hour, and then I'll head down and see if I can get some golden light on the water and see how that turns out. Well, it's another gorgeous night in the mountains here. The stars all just started to come out now. You can't see obviously because the light's on me, but a little bit of cloud cover. But yeah, looks very, very nice. I'm going to turn all these lights off in a moment and enjoy that. Went down to pick up the GoPro off the side of the lake. I was just doing a night lapse down there and ended up talking to another couple camping in a van. Really nice couple actually. So they've been very clever. They parked right down the other end of the park, so they've got privacy and I've got privacy, which is really, really nice. Really appreciated. And we don't have to listen to each other all night in a campsite. So yeah, just going to enjoy the night show tonight, the light show I should say. Should be a lot of stars out, way out in the middle of nowhere, so there's no light noise from cities and towns, etc. There's no lights in the actual campsite itself, which is great. So just going to shut all these lights off, enjoy that, and I will see you all in the morning. Well, it's a cold start to the morning this morning, guys. 5 degrees when I wake up at about 6:30 this morning. Just past 8 o'clock now, just been down to the lake getting some footage, having a bacon and egg wrap for breakfast. So just going to slowly work around the lake this morning, see if I can find any trails to explore the area. I know there's one going back down towards the entrance of the park. I've seen that on Gaia Maps, so we'll have a look at that. But otherwise, yeah, just going up, see if I can find, there's another creek at the other end of the lake, but I'm not sure if you can get down there on foot or not. But we'll have a look on Gaia Maps as well, and have a bit of an explore after I've had this breakfast. So this is the other end of the dam near the wall. As you can see, there's some lovely rock faces there on the right hand side. I suggest with a canoe or a light boat, that's where you'd be fishing. Much deeper water down this way. One of the kayakers I spoke to yesterday said that the water down this way, and particularly where this little creek runs into it, is much clearer. The water even here is quite murky. So I can imagine, as I said though, in under around here, that's what I would suggest you're probably going to get the bass. But once again, just dead quiet, no one here, got the place to myself. It's one of the joys of camping in winter. So I've just been travelling down the Lions Road for the last half an hour or so. Beautiful piece of country, built by the Kyogo Lions Club back in around the 1970s. Just standing on the Spiral Loop lookout here, looking at over where the railway line goes between New South Wales and Queensland. A little bit hard to see on the hill here, so I'll put up a diagram so you can see what's going on. But essentially, the train comes down from New South Wales at the top of the diagram, circles around the hill through the small tunnel, and back around, and that gains at about 20 metres in elevation that it needs to get back through the rest of the ranges. And apparently that was far more cost effective than building a full tunnel through the ranges. So yeah, very, very clever. Apparently if you can watch the big cargo trains, they end up going circling right around and on top of themselves and out the other side, which will be pretty interesting to watch. So yeah, very, very clever bit of engineering, built back in the 1920s in the middle of the Depression by about 1,500 men. So yeah, pretty clever stuff. So just coming out of the lookout now, guys, back down Lions Road, heading towards Brisbane in Queensland, at Bow Desert. As you can see, it's an extraordinary part of the world, these border ranges, very, very tall mountains. So to even build a railway line, let alone a road, up through these ranges and into Queensland was an absolute feat, particularly when you think it's back in the 1930s or 1920s, when they were building such a railway line. And full credit to the guys back then, they didn't have the machinery we have these days to build such roads. As you can see, she's pretty wild country, and these were pretty tough men at those days, building a railway line, absolute middle of nowhere through the ranges. Full credit to them. But a beautiful part of the road that beautiful part of the world, the Border Ranges. I've done a lot of hiking up this way as well, out of O'Reilly's and TOONUMBAR, and yeah, well worth spending some time if you live in Queensland or northern New South Wales to get up into the ranges here. It really is a beautiful part of the country. Well, that wraps up another weekend. Absolutely blessed. The lake I ended up camping at was just exactly what I was looking for. Nice and secluded, middle of nowhere, up in the mountains. No tourists there at all, not a lot of campers at all. Just had the place to myself for 99% of the time. We had another couple turn up very late in the evening in a little camper van, and they camped themselves at the other end of the campground, which was brilliant. So essentially for the most of the afternoon and night I had a place to myself, and then certainly this morning they left about probably 8 AM. So I then had the entire lake to myself once again. So it was just beautiful and quiet. Watching the mist come off the water while I ate breakfast and had a coffee was fantastic. So absolutely blessed as usual. The bonus of the trip was the Lions Road, which I'm travelling along now. I've just crossed the border back into Queensland. Got to give it to the men and women back in the 1920s building a railway line through this part of the countryside, and then to the Lions Club, you know, to have the government to essentially renege on a deal to build a road that would be more direct between Kyogle and Bow Desert down into Brisbane in the late 60s, and then to take it on their own back to build a dirt road essentially first of all for four-wheel drives, and then convince local councils and government and companies to come on board to fund building it, and then eventually sealing it in the late 70s. So absolutely extraordinary effort from a local community organisation. Just shows you that if you have it in your mind to do something and have some like-minded people around you, you certainly can achieve these things. But listen, just wanted to wrap it up. Thank you very much again for joining me on this adventure. I hope you enjoyed the footage, and I look forward to seeing you all in a fortnight's time. Bye for now.